In this tutorial, I am going to share a step-by-step guide that you can follow as a complete beginner to design an amazing landing page for a real estate investing business. This landing page is going to be designed on WordPress using Elementor Page Builder, and I am going to use the free version of Elementor so that it will be easy for you to follow along. So all you need in order to follow along this tutorial, you just need a domain name and hosting. If you have a domain name and hosting, you install WordPress, then you are good to go. And if by any chance you don't have a domain name and hosting and you want to sign off, I'm going to put the links in the description of this video that you can watch a tutorial in order to sign up for web hosting and buy a domain name and also install WordPress. I'm going to show you how to design this landing page based on the landing pages that I designed for my client previously. This is the landing page we are going to design. I have designed landing pages for real estate investors for a few years now, and this landing page is going to have all the sections that a real estate investing business is going to need. And without any delay, I am going to share my screen and we can get started. Okay, right now I am in the dashboard of WordPress dashboard. And when you are on the dashboard of WordPress, you just need to come to pages and we come to add new pages. And we just need to write the name of the page. I am going to write landing page sample. And I'm going to hit publish. If you have installed Elementor on this website, you are going to see this button, Edit with Elementor. If you do not install Elementor, then you are going to have to install Elementor as a plugin. If you don't know how, I have a link in the description that you can follow to install Elementor on your website. But when you have this button, you just need to click on it in order to load Elementor on this page. Okay, this is an empty page, but you see the page have this header, which is the header of the entire website. And I don't want to have any header or footer on this website. I'm going to design everything from scratch. And to remove this header, I'm going to come to this gear icon. And I'm going to, under setting, you just scroll. Under page layout, I am going to click and choose Elementor Canvas. And then I'm going to click publish. And now you see the page is empty. I have a clean empty page that I'm going to start working on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with creating the hero section. And I'm going to click on this plus icon in order to add a container. You can either click here to add the container or you can drag the container from here and drop it. But to make it easy, I will just click here and I'm going to choose Flexbox and choose the first one. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some background image to this banner, to this section, I mean. And the background image, I'm going to use Canva in order to get all this, the stock images that I need. I just need to come to Canva. If you have an account in Canva, you use it. If you don't, it's easy to sign off. I will put a link in the description. You can simply follow it and sign off. And I'm going to create a design. And I'm going to choose custom size. And the size, I'm going to choose 1920 by 880. And I'm going to leave it as pixel. Then I will create a design. Okay, when it finishes loading, I just need to come to images. Right here under photos. Okay, under the search bar here, I'm going to search for nice house. Okay, I like this one, so I click on it to add it to the page. I am going to right click on it and set this as background. This is going to be the background image of the website hero section. The next thing is I'm going to just download it. Okay, make sure our file type is PNG and you simply click on download. Okay, now the file has been downloaded, but you see it is 2 MB. Is too large, so I'm going to use a pre-tool to reduce the size. I'm going to use tiny JPG and I'm going to upload it here to reduce the size so that the page is not going to be, it's not going to take too long to load. Okay, the file has been compressed from 2 MB to 500 kilobytes, so I'm going to download it and then I'm going to come back here to Elementor. I click on this dot in order to select the section. Then I'm going to come to style section and I'm going to choose classic under background type. And right here, I'm going to upload the image. I come to upload, I select a file And this is it right here. So I click on it and click on open. Okay, when it finishes uploading, I just select in order to import it. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust some settings. Resolution, I'm going to leave it at full. Position, I'm going to change it to center. And under display size, I will change it to cover. And that is all. Under attachment, I can change it to fixed, but I'm going to leave it as default so that you will see how it is at default and after I change it. The next thing is I'm going to add background overlay. And I'm going to choose on classic and I'm going to choose black color right here. I just drag it here. I'm going to change the opacity to something like 0.7. No, it's too much. So 0.6, 0.55. Yeah, this will probably do. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to do other settings for this section. And I'm going to leave it as flexbox. Container width, I'm going to leave it as boxed. Width, I'm going to leave it as default. The minimum height, I'm going to change it to something like 450 will do. Okay, 450 is good enough. The direction of the element, I'm going to leave it pointed down so that any item I added are going to be stacked one on top of each other. If I choose this horizontal, if I add other element, they are going to be horizontally aligned. So I'm going to leave it vertically aligned so that items are going to be stacked on top of each other. And the next thing is this alignment. I want the items on the page to be center. So I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to choose center here. So everything I added on this section is going to be center. The next thing I'm going to do is I will add a heading. And we can do this by clicking on this plus icon to come back to all element. And then here is heading. I click and drag it to drop right here. You see it has been added and it is perfectly in the center of the section. The first thing is I'm going to change its color to white. I come to style, make sure the heading is selected. You come to style and then under text color right here, you change it to white. Okay, now the text is visible. The next thing I will do is I'm going to come to typography and I'm going to click the icon and make changes here. The font I want to use Montserrat. So I'm going to search Montserrat here. Okay, I'm going to change the weight to 900 black. And I'm going to adjust the size to make it bigger. 50 is going to do. Okay, now the text is 100% visible. Then I'm going to change the text from a placeholder to something like "We buy houses." Okay, the next thing is I'm going to add some simple description. And I can do that. You can either search for element from here, or when you come back to our element, you scroll and find the element you want to use. Right now, I want to add a description. So I am looking for text editor. I will click and drag and drop it right here. Okay, this is a placeholder text. I'm going to make it more visible so that we can make changes to it, and we can come to style and I will change the color to white. And I will come to typography. I will leave the font to default. If you want to change it to something like Roboto, whatever, you can do it here. I will adjust the size. No, that's too big. Okay, 18 is good enough. I'm going to change the weight to medium. Or I'm going to change it to semi-bold. Yeah, this will do. I'm going to make it center. Here, alignment. And it's too big from here to here, so I'm going to add some margin. And I can do this by coming to advanced Right here when it said margin, I will click here to remove the link so that I can add left or right or bottom or top. If you leave this on, when you change something here, all of them are going to be affected. But if you remove the link, then you can add wherever you want. I only want to add left margin and right margin. So I am going to add something like 90 left and 90 right. Not good enough, so I'm going to add 120 left and 120 right. Okay, this is better. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a call to action, meaning a button. And I can do this by coming back here to all element. Then I scroll, I found a button, click and drag and drop it here. It is automatically centered because I make all the changes to the page to be center. So I'm going to change the button to get an instant offer. And the next thing is you can add the link to the button here where you want people to go to when they click this button. So for now, I'm just going to leave it empty because I don't have anywhere to take people. But if you have another page that you want people to go to, this is where you are going to add the link to the page. And if you want people to scroll to the bottom of the page when they click or to a different section, you can do it. I'm going to show you how you can do that later. For now, we are going to do some styling, and I can come on to the style tab. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the text color. It is white by default, but I'm going to drag it to make sure it is white. And then I'm going to change the background color. Okay, I'm going to use this color. And the next thing is I'm going to change some typography, meaning the text of the button. I'm going to come to typography, click the pencil icon. I'm going to change the text to something like semi-bold. Yeah, this is better. And then I can scroll and add a border radius. I'm going to add something like 8. Border radius is just the corner right here, the corner of the button. If I remove the pencil here, you see right now it is slightly cornered, but it is a little too much, so I'm going to reduce it. You click the icon. From 8, I'm going to reduce it down to 5. And now we can see it is cornered just slightly, and that is enough. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some adjustment here to the main section. You see right now when you scroll, the image scroll together with the content. But when I click here, meaning I choose the section entirely, I can come back to the style tab. Under background image, I can change the attachment from default to fixed. And when I do this, the background is going to stay stuck. You see, when I scroll, the background image will stay stuck. The items are going to scroll and leave everything right there where it is. And this is what we want, so I'm going to click on publish. And the next thing is I'm going to click the preview button here to preview the changes that I have. Okay, this is the hero section of the page. We can make a little more adjustment to it. And what we can do is I'm going to reduce the width of this text. It's a little too long. So I can come back here, select the text, come back to the advanced tab. Instead of 120, I'm going to change the margin to 150. I click on publish. And when we see the preview page, it still looks the same, so I'm going to have to change it to something like 200. Okay, I can actually click here to close the editor so that I can see the page right here. Okay, this looks much better. So I'm going to click publish. The next thing we can do to make this section look better is we can add the logo of the business below and at the top of this heading. And we can do that by coming back to the element. And I will choose an image, click, drag and drop it at the top. And then I'm going to change the image here. You click on it, you can come to upload, and you can find the image. Okay, you can find the logo that you want to use. This is just a sample one. I click and upload it. I click select. Okay, now we added the image, but it is way too big. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the resolution from large to full. And then I'm going to come to the style tab and I will change the maximum width. I will click and drag so that it is exactly as I want it. Maybe 12 if I remove the editor. Okay, 12 is good enough. What I can do is I can add some border radius. I add a 5 pixel radius, and when we close it, you see it is slightly cornered, and this is good enough. So I'm going to click on publish so that I save the changes. Okay, the next thing is the color of this button doesn't really look good, so I'm going to change the color to something like orange. I click on it, I come to style, right here under color, I click on it. I'm going to change it to something like this. Okay, now the text doesn't look good as white, so I'm going to change the text to black. Okay, if I remove the editor, okay, this looks much better, so I'm going to save it. Okay, the next thing is about section, about us section, and we are finished with this section. You can see it right here in the preview section. So I'm going to come back here, we scroll up and we add a new section. By clicking the plus icon, we choose flex box, and we can choose the items to either point down or we can change it later, so I'm just going to choose the first one. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some padding, or maybe I will not add padding so that you understand the actual importance of it. I'm going to add it after I have content on the page. The next thing I want to do is I want to have a section with two small columns, and we will have an image in the right section, in the left section, and we'll have text on the other section. And we can do that by adding two columns inside this big section. And if I come to the items, the add element, I add another container. I can duplicate this container that I just added, right click on it and click on duplicate. Right now you see I have two columns, but they are stacked one on top of each, one on top of the other. We can change that by coming to the section, we click on it, we come to the layout, and right here where it is pointing downward vertical, I can change it to horizontal. Right now you see we have two sections, left and right, and I'm going to add an image right here on this section. I click on this element, I'm going to click, drag and drop an image here, and on the other section I'm going to add a heading and a subheading or a description and a button. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is style it, make some style and make it look good. You see, if you notice the first thing, if I remove the editor, this image is way too close to the top section. So we are going to add some padding at the top and at the bottom. And we can do that by opening the editor. First, I'm going to make everything center. I can do that by choosing here, the main section. I make everything center and center. So you see everything is now center. And then I'm going to add some padding at the top. We are not going to add margin, we are going to add paddings. Padding is what is inside the container. Margin is what is outside of the container. So if I add margin, the space is going to be added at the top of the container. If I add padding, it's going to be added at the top of the elements inside the container. So I'm going to add the padding. I'm going to remove the link so that I can add the way I want them. At the top, I'm going to add 60, and bottom, I'm going to add 60, and left and right I'm going to add 30. Okay, that's all I want. I click on publish. The next thing is the image, and I'm going to use Canva to make the image look good. And I can come back to Canva, and I will come back to the home page of Canva. Okay, from the home page I'm going to create a new design, and I'm going to choose custom size, and I'm going to add the size of the image I want here. I'm going to add 1090 by 1458 will do, and I will click on create new design. Okay, when the design opens, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an element. I click on element, and I'm going to add this shape. I am going to make it big. And then I'm going to change its color. I'm going to change its color to the color of this button. So I'm going to copy the color from here. I click on here to change the color, paste the color here, and here it is. And the next thing is the image. I'm going to add the image I want to use. So I can scroll here to photos. I'm going to search for house. And I will find an image of a house. Maybe this one will do. I click it to add it to the page. And I will drag it up like this. And okay, this looks good, so I'm going to save it. Okay, the image is too heavy, so I'm going to reduce its size here. Okay, I can come back to the landing page. Then I will replace this image. I click the pencil icon under the content. I click on here, come to upload files, select file, and I will upload it. Okay, I click select to add it to the page. Okay, the image has been added if I remove the editor, but the image is way too big, so I'm going to reduce its size. Make sure the image is selected. I come to style. Under max width, I'm going to drag so that I adjust the size to something like 50 might do. Let me see. Yes, 50% will do just fine. The next thing is I'm going to change the styling of this heading. And to make things easier, I'm going to copy the style of this heading. I right click. I click on copy. I come down here, right click, and not paste, but paste style. So when I do that, this heading is going to have the same style as this one, but this heading is white, so this one is white too. And we are going to change that since the background is light. And I come to style, change the color to something like 333. Okay, the next thing is the image, the text is way too big, so I click the pencil icon, I reduce it to something like 35 will do. And I will change it from the placeholder to about us. Okay, maybe I can increase the size a little to like 35. Yes, this looks better. And then I can click here. I can make the changes to this one also. And what I am going to do, I'm just going to make it a little longer, I mean. Okay, then I'm going to change the style of this button, and I'm not going to do it manually. So I'm just going to click, right click, copy, and I will right click here and paste style. So you see the button right now looks uniform, the same as this one. And I'm going to click on publish. The next thing, I'm going to look at it here. Okay, this is how the section is looking at the moment. And I like it, but we can make it a little better. And I can do that by coming here. I choose the section. Right now it is only white, the background color. When I come to style, I can come to background overlay and choose classic. And the background overlay is going to be an image. So I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to use this image that we use in the background. Click on select and add the same style here. Change the display size to cover, position to center, and I'm going to change the opacity to something like 75. Nope, 75 is way too much, so I'm going to change it to something like 0.3. 0.2 might be better. Yep, this looks better. I'm also going to change the attachment to fixed. No, fixed doesn't look good, so I'm going to leave it to default. Okay, now I'm going to click publish. And I'm going to see the changes I made here. So you see, this is how the section looks now. It looks much better than just having a white section. Okay, the next section we are going to add is services section. Services we are offering to clients. As a real estate investor, you buy houses from homeowners. So we are going to add another section. We can click on add new, place box, and we choose the first one. And we can copy the same padding that we added from this section. And if we click on here, we come to advanced. We added 60, 30 paddings. So we can do the same to this section right here. I click on it, I come to advanced, and I will unlink them. Top is going to be 60, right 30, bottom 60, and left 30. Okay, click on save. Okay, the first thing I will add is a heading, and I can just click drag and drop like we normally do. Then I'm going to style it. I can control copy and right click, paste style, and I will change it to maybe this will do. I'm going to change it to center, and I'm going to add a short description. We can add something like, yes, we buy houses in any condition. You get the drill, the type of information your client will want to have on the page. We make it center, and we are going to add some paddings left and right. Left is going to be 150, and right is going to be also 150. We click on save. And the next thing we are going to add is we are going to add some columns, 3 columns. And I'm going to start with adding a container below this section. And I'm going to style this container so that the items are going to be aligned, not vertically, but horizontally. And I do this so that the items are going to be aligned the way we want it. And I come back to element. I add another container inside this container. And then I will duplicate this container that I added. You see now we have 2 containers left and right, and I will duplicate it again to have another one. So this is what we want. Right now I have 1 container with 3 columns inside of it. And we are going to start with adding an icon box. I'm going to search for icon box here. And I'm going to change this to something like gravel. And the heading, we are going to change it to foreclosure. Nope, I tapped it wrong. Okay, the description is going to be a short description about a foreclosure property that the client buy. So I'm going to style it now. I'm going to come back to style, make sure everything is center, and icon spacing is enough. You can reduce or add it, but I'm going to leave it as, yeah, it works better. Then I'm going to style this section, this icon. And before I style this icon, I'm going to style the box itself. And I can choose the box here. I can come to style and I will change the background color of it. I can either change the background color or add some border shadow. If I add some border shadow, it might even look better. So I'm going to just come down to border. And right here, box shadow, I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to leave the blur at 8. Vertical, I will leave it at 10 also. And I will change the color to something like 0.25. Okay, I'm going to change the border radius to 5. Okay, if I remove it, the editor, you see this is how it looks. But I'm going to make it better. And we can make it better by first adding a padding to it. Because if you see this icon is way too close to the top, and this paragraph is also way too close to the bottom. So I'm going to add a padding of 25 pixels to each side. I'm going to add 25. And the next thing is I am going to choose the main container that all the items are inside, and I will add left and right padding to it also. Left, I'm going to add something like 80. Right is also going to be 80. Let me see how it looks. No, it's not as good as I want, so I'm going to add 20 at the top and 20 at the bottom, so that everything is spaced out good. And I can choose it again. The inner container, I can choose the inner container, and I can add some margins. Left, I can add 20, and the right, I can add also 20. So when I remove the editor, okay, now it looks better. Then I can change the formatting of these items, and I will start by clicking on the icon to choose the icon box. Under style, I can come to the icon and I can change the color of the icon. I can change it to the color of the button, so I can copy the color from here. And I can come back, choose the icon box. Under style, I come to icon and I can change the color. Okay, I can come to the content. Under title, I can change the color of the title to 33. I can change the typography to Montserrat family, font family. And I can change the weight to bold. I can reduce the size. Yep, 24 is good enough. And the description, I can leave it like this if we remove the editor. Okay, now it looks better. What we can do is we can duplicate this one, this container. I can click on it, right click and duplicate. And I will right click and duplicate it again. And then I can remove these two columns that are empty. When I right click, delete, right click, delete. Okay, if I do this, right now you see we have 3 nice columns, but they have too many spaces between them, so I'm going to reduce the space. I will choose this one and I will remove this margin. And I don't have to remove it for each of the sections. I can simply copy, control. Right, okay, I can come back here, right click and paste style. This one also, right click and paste style. So if we do this, okay, now they are spaced out correctly. The next thing I am going to do is I'm going to duplicate this main section that they are in. So I click on it, right click and duplicate. If I remove the editor, okay, you see we have 6 icon boxes. The next thing we can do is we can style them. I can come back, I will change the second icon box. You click on it, and we can change this to relocation. And I will change the icon by going to the icon library. I can find like a car. Okay, or maybe I can search for truck. Okay, this one will do. Okay, the next thing I am going to do is change the color of this box entirely so that it looks better. I'm going to use this color, the color of this icon. I can copy the color. Okay, then I will choose this section. I can come to style, and I can, under background type, I will choose classic, and under color, I will change it right here. And the next thing is the icon become invisible, so I'm going to have to change the color of the icon. I will choose this one, come back to style, icon. I will change it to maybe, let's see, white will do. And the rest of the content, we can change the title also to white. And the description, we can also change it to white. Okay, now you see it looks much better. The next thing we can do is we can also change this one. And we can do this by coming here, right click, copy, right click, paste style. And we can copy this one also and paste style. And we can publish. Okay, we can see how it looks from the preview page. Okay, this looks much better. What we can do is we can go ahead and change all the content from the page, from the placeholder content to something like divorce, relocation, job loss, debt, something, all the reasons that people have to sell their houses. And one thing I can do is I'm going to adjust the size of this heading. I will increase the size to 50. Click on publish. Okay, yes, 50 looks much better. Okay, the next section we want is services section, services we offer. And we can come down here, add a new section. Okay, we don't have to add the paddings manually. We can simply copy this section, right click, copy, and we can right click here and paste style. So this section is going to have all the same padding and margins that we have for the above one. And I can click on publish. And I actually want to have the same background with this one. So instead, I'm going to copy this one. Scroll down here, right click and paste style. Okay, this will do much better. The next thing, I'm going to add a heading. I can copy this heading and I can come right here to this plus, right click and do paste. And I can add the same description, copy, come down here, right click and paste. But now you see they are aligned this way and we want one on top of each other. So we can choose the section, come back to under layout. Under direction right now it is set to horizontal. We can change it to vertical. So they are aligned just like this. And we can click on publish. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to add 3 sections just like this one. So I'm going to add a section, container under here. I will paste it and I can copy the styling of this one. And I right click. Or you know what? I can just copy and paste it. I can just copy this entire container with everything inside it. and I will paste it here. Right click and paste. So you see, it will be even easier for me to work with it this way. The next thing I'm going to do is just change the content from these boxes. I will start with the heading, and I will say something like process, or something like, or how it works. Okay. And I'm going to save it first. Then I'm going to come to Canva. And what I'm going to do in Canva is I'm just going to come back to homepage. Okay, I'm going to create a design. I'm going to choose custom size, and I will do 500 width and 500 height. Okay, I'm going to come to element. And under element, I will search for progress. Okay, this is the one we want under chart. So I'm going to click on this one. I will drag so that it peel off the page. Okay, I'm going to change the color. I can come to copy this color. I'm going to choose this one, paste the color, and we choose this one. The next one, I'm going to choose it again, but then I'm going to reduce the opacity. Yep, this works. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add a text. And I will add a heading. I change it to 1. And I can increase the size. I will change the font to Montserrat bold. I will change the color to this one. Okay, I will increase the size a little more. And make sure it is center. And I will choose this entire element. I come back here, and percentage is going to be 25. And I can duplicate the page. I will change this number to 2. And change the font Montserrat black. And I will choose the element, come to edit, increase it to 50%. Then duplicate it again, change the number to 3, choose the element, come to edit, and change the percentage to 75. Then duplicate it again, change the number to 4, and choose the element, and change the percentage to 100. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to save everything. Click on share, download, and all pages, PNG, and just click on download. Okay, the item has been downloaded in a zip folder, so I can come back here and come to my folders, and I will extract the files. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this column. I can do this, duplicate, but if I duplicate it, four columns are going to be, yeah, they look all right. So I can come back here, choose the icon box, or first change the background. I choose the background, come to style, and I will change it to white. Choose classic color, white. Okay, then I will choose the icon box. I can delete the icon by clicking this remove icon. Then I will come back here and I will choose an image. And I can choose an image, go to upload, select file, and I will find the folder and I will upload all of them. Okay, I will start by choosing number 1. Click on select. I will change the content when I choose on it. Contact us. I will write a short description about contacting us, and let me see how it looks first. Okay, the image is too big, so I can come back, choose the image, and reduce the width to something like 60 will do. Okay, this looks good. The next thing I will do is duplicate this one and remove this one. Duplicate it 4 times or 3 times and remove the other ones. Oops, I removed one by mistake, so I will just duplicate it twice. I will choose a container. Because I have 4 columns now, I'm going to reduce the paddings from 80 to 50-50. Okay, next I will change this image. I will choose the number 2. Change the heading to something like talk to us. I don't know, just something that your client will want. I will change the next one to number 3 and change the section to get an offer. Choose the next one, change the image to number 4, and we can change it to close. Okay, I'm going to click on publish and we can see how it looks. If we scroll down here, this is how the process works. You can add more of the description, and right now it looks good to me. So we are going to move to the next section, which is the last section, a get started section or contact us. And we are going to add a new section like we normally do. And then I'm going to copy the styling of this section. Right click, copy, and right click, paste style, just so that we have the padding. I don't have to write it again. But we want to have a section with 2 columns, and I can just add a new container inside and I will duplicate it. So one stack on top of each other is not what we want, so I will click the main container and I will change it to horizontal, so they are left to right. And the next thing we want to do is we are going to add a contact form right here. And to add a contact form, we have to create it. And you can create a contact form by installing WP Forms. If I come to the dashboard, WP Forms is a plugin. And you can install it as you normally install a plugin. After you install it, you are going to have it here, WP Forms. When you click on it, you can create another form. You can just add a new form and you can create a simple contact form just like this one. But for now, since I already have it, the process is very easy. You can simply search for WP Forms. This is it. You click, drag and drop it here. And you can select a form. I'm going to choose this one. Okay, the next thing is display option. We are going to hide form name, form description, but since there is none here, we don't need to worry about that. We can just come to here, the advanced section. I'm going to add padding of 25, and I'm going to come down to border, add some border shadow, and add something here, and reduce the color to something like 25. Okay, and border radius, I'm going to add 5. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks fine to me. The next thing is we are going to add some, what we can do also is add some heading at the top. I can just right click and duplicate this one. And I can remove this column right here. So I have two containers, one at the top, one at the bottom. The one at the top, I can add headings to it. So I can drag and drop here, change it to contact us. And I can copy the styling of this one and paste the style here. And we have our contact form here. And the next thing we can do is we can add some text. And we can add some icon box, icon list, I mean. We can remove the second one, and I can change this one to a phone number format. And we can change the icon by clicking the icon library. We write phone. I can choose this one. And the second one, I open it. We can change it to test@email.com. And we can change the icon to envelope. Okay, I'm going to style it off a bit. First, I'm going to change the color of the icons. I can copy the color here. Okay, I come to style. Under icon, the color of the icon, we paste the color here. So they look like this. I can increase the size of the icons. 22 will do. I will add some gap. And the next thing is the text. I can come to typography. I can increase it to 18 and change the font family if you want to, and I will change the weight to medium. And then I can come to the list and add some space between them. Okay, this looks good. The next thing is I will add a map. Okay, I'm going to save. And we can see how it looks. Okay, this is how the section looks at the moment. For now, it looks good enough. And all we need to do is add a footer. I can just do this, add a new section, then just copy the style. Or we don't even need to copy the style since it's a footer. I just add an element, add a heading, and we can just write something like all right result. Okay, I can change it from heading 2 to H4. We can center it here, change the font from typography. We change the font family to Montserrat. Okay, we change it to bold. We change the size to 15. We reduce it to medium. No, medium is too light, so semi-bold will do. Okay, then I can choose the section. I will change the color of the section to this color of the website. So I will copy the color from here. I will choose the section under style, background, choose a color and paste this color here. I'm going to add some padding, remove the link, then I'm going to add top 20 and bottom 20. And let's see how it looks. Okay, looks good. We are going to save. And then we can review the entire page. We have our top section, about us, services, how it works, and contact us. That is what we need. The next thing I will show you is how to, I want if users click this button to scroll down here so that they can fill out the form and send us a message. And we can do this by using Anchor. And we can search for Anchor here. This one, menu Anchor. So I'm going to click and drop it right above the contact us heading. And right here, I will just write contact -us. No spaces. So I'm going to copy it. Oh, I made a mistake, so I fix it. Okay, I'm going to copy. Then I will scroll to where the button is, choose the button, and under the content, right here, I'm going to add this hashtag, and then I will paste it. So I'm going to save. Okay, we come to the preview. Now when you click on it, it will scroll down here. And that is what we want. The next thing is I'm going to make it mobile responsive. So we come back here. Right here, we choose tablet. So this is how it looks in a tablet screen. This is too small. So we are going to choose here and reduce the padding from 200. We can change it to something like 50 left and 50 right. Here we scroll down. This looks too small, the image. So we choose the image. Under style, we increase the size. Okay, 82 looks good. This looks too small also, so we can choose this section. We come to advanced and we reduce the padding from 2080 to something like, we just remove it entirely. And we do the same with this one. We remove all the paddings. Okay, they look good. How it works, we can reduce the padding of this description also. From 150, we can change it to something like 50 left and 50 right. And we can choose this one. Also looks too small. We remove the padding entirely. And we can choose the main one. The main one also, we remove all paddings. We can reduce the sizes of this text. So I can just come to style, content. Under title, I come to typography. Instead of 24, I will change it to 18. Yep, this looks good. So I can copy and paste style. Do the same with this one. And the same with this one. Okay, just look good. We can scroll down and this section looks fine. So we can click on publish to save the changes. The changes we make here are not going to affect the desktop view. The next one is mobile version. And we can start by changing the size of this, adding some padding. You see this logo is way to the top, so we can come to advanced. And under padding, we can add 25, not to 50, 25 top. And 25 at the bottom, and right we can add 10 and left we can add 10. Then we can choose this heading is way too big. We come to style, we center it, we come to typography. Instead of 50 we can do something like 33, and this one we can choose it also. reduce all the heading from 50-50, we can just remove it entirely. Okay, now it looks good. So we can scroll, we can increase this size from 82 to 100, and we can make this center. We can make this one also center on mobile phone, and we choose this button, we make it also center on that style, and we reduce the size of this heading, it's way too big, so we come to typography, we can change it to 33, and we choose this one, it has way too much padding, so we remove the padding entirely, and this boxes looks fine. We reduce the size of this one to style, typography, 33. We remove the padding of this one. Okay, looks good. Contact us, we also reduce it to 33. We make this. This looks fine. This all looks good. Okay, we click on publish. So now we can view our page. So this is how our landing page looks at the moment. If you scroll, you see all the sections that we have, and you can see also if we view it on our mobile phone, it is going to look just as good. The next thing you can do is you can just go ahead and replace all the placeholder text with your client text. If you want to use this as your portfolio, then you can leave the placeholder content and you can go ahead and use it as your portfolio. So this is how you can create this landing page for a real estate investing business. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next one.